So we still have a few people logging on, but we'll get started. So welcome to the June Nutrition Support Monthly Call. My name is Misty Woods, and I'll be leading today's monthly call. So here's the agenda for today. We're going to briefly go over some summer EBT slides. We're going to go over summer feeding and SSO reminders, a few reminders about the final rule that was discussed on last month's call. Some CEP election reminders from the May 30th call, some equipment grant reminders, the most recent memos, and as well as the upcoming trainings. So first, Louisiana Summer EBT Plan was approved yesterday, June 3rd. So summer EBT is happening for summer 2024. However, this call will not be focused on summer EBT, but we do want to provide the information we do have at this point related to this new program. We are not going to be hosting a question and answer summer EBT today, but we will talk about an upcoming summer EBT call where you will be able to get your questions answered. So rather than putting your summer EBT questions in the chat box today, please email us at childnutritionprograms@la.gov if you have any questions that are specific to summer EBT. So, although the Department of Children and Family Services is the coordinating agency for summer EBT, Louisiana Department of Education will continue working with and supporting LEAs and data managers through the process of submitting the needed data to DCFS. Please remember that staff at LDOE are prohibited by state law from viewing student PII. Therefore, we will be limited in the means and methods we are able to support. We will not be able to view spreadsheets that contain personally identifiable information for students. The Department of Education will start hosting weekly calls for data managers on Thursday, June 6th at 11 a.m. These calls will be held weekly to try to help answer questions and provide technical assistance throughout the summer. Some meetings will have formal information to share, while others will simply operate like office hours, where you can attend to ask your questions. The link to register for this call is on this slide, and I've also shared it in the chat so that you can go ahead and register. Once you register, you should be able to download a calendar invite for all of June and July meeting dates. This information will also be sent out via email to data managers. However, like I said before, if you need the link or if you have any additional questions, you can email childnutritionprograms@la.gov and we'll be happy to share the link and answer your questions there. So I posted the link to register for that meeting in the chat box. So as a summary, there will be three primary ways to combat childhood hunger in Louisiana this summer. First, we have the summer EBT program, what USDA is calling Sunbucks, and this is the grocery buying benefit. Second, we have traditional summer feeding program and seamless summer option meals. These are group on-site meals available statewide. And thirdly, we have summer feeding meals to go. And these are grab and go meals or home delivered meals that are available in some rural areas across the state. We've had a great response to the non-congregate option this summer, and we're excited to see the impact it makes on the children in our state. So, what is summer EBT or Sunbucks? It's a new permanent federal child nutrition program that provides a grocery benefit for children during the summer months to families and children eligible for free or reduced price school meals. Eligible children will receive a benefit of $120 per summer on an EBT card to purchase food. This is meant to supplement the other child nutrition programs operating in the summer months. As mentioned previously, DCFS is the coordinating agency, meaning they will collect the eligibility information and issue summer EBT benefits. They will also provide student specific customer service for families. The Louisiana Department of Education, as the partnering agency, will provide support and information to LEAs related to summer EBT, in addition to operating a call center able to respond to general frequently asked questions. So, generally, there are three ways students in Louisiana can qualify for summer EBT benefits. The first is through participation in a directly certifiable program such as SNAP. The second is through free and reduced price meal applications at NSLP participating schools. And the third is through the submission of a summer EBT application. This method will primarily be for students who are not on a benefit program such as SNAP and attend a CEP school. This slide shows the issuance targets for the eligibility categories. The first issuance will be for children Streamline certified for SNAP. That issuance will occur on June 18th. The second issuance will be for children Streamline certified on TANF, Medicaid, or identified as eligible at an NSLP school file. This issuance is scheduled for July 23rd. The third issuance will be for children who apply through the online summer EBT application. And that issuance will be for the families that apply between August 19th through September 20th. If you will be involved in the data collection and submission, please plan to attend the summer EBT calls on Thursdays at 11 a.m. The state will ask LEAs to utilize the same process used for PEBT when reporting students deemed eligible for summer EBT by completing by completing an NSLP application for students enrolled in non-provision schools or an alternate income survey for students enrolled in CEP schools, as well as students categorically eligible for free meals, such as homeless students. Both groups will use the same template to incorporate eligible students. All NSLP and school breakfast participating children who meet the eligibility criteria at any point during the period of eligibility will be issued benefits. The files will be transferred through a secure portal previously set up for PEBT, which satisfies data confidentiality requirements. The files will be due by the 10th of the month or the next business day. The template used is an Excel file with the following data fields: student demographics, the full name and date of birth, the residential and mailing addresses, state and local ID number, the school site code and school name, and the optional for social security number and gender. Under the program requirements established by USDA for summer EBT, schools approved under the CEP require students who are not directly certified or categorically eligible that wish to receive summer EBT benefits to reside in a household that is or at below the NSLP income threshold for reduced price meal benefits and complete a summer EBT application. Summer EBT implementation is different than how pandemic EBT operated during the public health emergencies. So, not all students enrolled in CEP approved schools are summer EBT eligible. Again, we're not hosting a Q&A for summer EBT today. However, please join the call on Thursdays at 11 for additional information, or you can send us an email at childnutritionprograms@la.gov if you have any questions. And the link is in the chat to register for those calls on Thursdays. So next, let's talk about some summer feeding and seamless summer option reminders. So those of you that are doing the traditional summer feeding, just we have a few reminders that any sponsors that are wanting to operate a summer feeding site must submit their summer feeding application at least 14 days before operations begin. Sponsors who are not approved to operate until that summer feeding application has been approved. Any meals provided prior to that application being approved cannot be claimed for reimbursement. On Louisiana Fit Kids website, there has been some summer meals resources that sponsors can use. And on this slide is a screenshot of the summer meals resources page that includes summer meals and sunbooks, as well as Turn Up the Beat awards. And then here's another screenshot on this slide from the Louisiana Fit Kids website resources page that also includes some social media graphics that can be used as well. You just need to download them by clicking on the image. So some SSO reminders. So for those SFAs that are doing seamless summer option, SSO reviews will be completed by Department of Education staff. Reviews are actually starting this week and will continue throughout the month of June. SFAs being reviewed should have received an announcement letter already, and staff, the reviewers, will be contacting the SFA prior to the review date to discuss details and to verify some information prior to going on site. Any SFAs that are planning to operate in July will need to complete the 24-25 school year application. So please contact the state agency if you are planning to operate in July for further instructions. So next we'll talk about some final rule reminders. So on April 25th, 2024, FNS published the final rule titled Child Nutrition Programs Meal Pattern Consistent with the 2020-2025 Dietary Guidelines for American. This rule finalizes practical, science-based, long-term school nutrition requirements based on the goals of the Dietary Guidelines for Americans for 2020-2025. Took into account stakeholder input and lessons learned from prior rulemakings. On this slide is some final rule resources. USDA intends to provide additional upcoming guidance on the final rule, but please refer to the May monthly call recording and slides for more detailed information about the final rule as we went into details about all of the different changes that are forthcoming. So now we're going to talk about some CEP elections reminders. I'm going to go over the important slides from the CEP election training, but please refer back to the May 30th CEP elections training for more detailed information. The training recording and slides have been posted to the Louisiana Fit Kids website. So there are many guidance materials available for more information on CEP. And please note that all of the CEP guidance has recently been updated. So the implementation guidance was updated in February of 2024, and that replaced the 2016 version. Some question and answer memos have also been updated, and that was released in February of 2024. Another memo about implementing the new minimum identified student percentage that was released in September of 2023, and the annual notification and publication requirements was released in February 2024, and all of these are linked on this slide for your reference. So on this slide, you'll find a listing of the CEP deadline dates. All SFAs must make final elections regarding CEP participation for the 24-25 school year in the CNP system, so on our CNP website by June 30th. So that is a little bit different than what we were previously saying. Originally, it was going to be in eScholar, but it's going to be in the Child Nutrition Program's website again this year. So the requirements for CEP elections are as followed. So CEP elections began or opened on June 3rd, so it opened up on Monday. Each year, all CEP elections must be made by June 30th. And as I just stated before, all CEP elections will be completed in the Child Nutrition Program website. So where to find the CEP worksheet? So once you're logged into the CNP website, under the Green School Food Service tab, click on CEP participation. And the form contains the data that's pre-populated from the population tab that was in eScholar. So all the data that was entered and certified in eScholar has been put into our system. So all of this data is what you certified back in April. The base year is the first year of the 4-year CEP cycle. If the SFA reestablished, the base year will be the date of that reestablishment. So for example, a base year of 2023 means that for school year 22-23 was the first year of the 4-year cycle, whereas a base year of 2024 means that the school year 23-24 was the first year of the 4-year cycle. So please pay close attention to the continue current base year and renew base year selections. If you select the same CEP cluster as the prior year, you will have the option to continue existing base year or continue with the current numbers, or elect school year 2025 base year, meaning you're reestablished using this year's numbers. If your current school year ISP has increased from your ISP of the prior year or your base year, you want to consider reestablishing or selecting Renew Current Base Year option. If you do not select the same CEP cluster as the prior year, you will only have the option to elect the school year 2025 base year, meaning you're going to reestablish using this year's numbers. If you are electing CEP district-wide, you can check the district-wide button and all of the sites will be clustered together. Please note, if you have sites that are not eligible for CEP due to either not participating in school lunch or school breakfast, selecting district-wide will not include those sites. Once you have made the elections decision, you must select Save Worksheet and Continue to advance to the review page. And then once CEP determinations are made for each site, you must certify the information is correct by checking the box next to the certification statement. After checking the certification box, you can submit. And then after you have certified your elections for CEP, the following message will show under the 2025 CEP elections review. This review screen shows who certified the actual elections. And this is just an example on this screen. So the initial CEP population data submission was due by April 15th, and that was done in eScholar. So there is nothing more that you need to do in eScholar at this time. You don't have to log in, you don't have to do anything. The final CEP elections data submission must be done by June 30th. And please know that June 30th is a Sunday. So you must submit before June 30th. You will not be able to submit on that following Monday, July 1st. And there will be no exceptions as this is a hard USDA deadline. So again, final CEP elections are in the CNP website this year. So the Department of Education Division of Nutrition Support will be hosting CEP office hours every Thursday at 1 p.m. So Thursday, June 6th, June 13th, June 20th, and June 27th, all at 1 p.m. So if you're having issues or have questions specific to CEP elections, please make sure to log on to the office hours. Um, please log on to the CEP office hours by clicking on that Zoom link that's on this slide. And we also had it included on a memo that was sent out as well. So in summary, again, all CEP elections must be completed in Department of Education CNP website. It opened up on June 3rd, and they must be made by June 30th. And please refer back to that May 30th CEP elections training for more detailed information. The training recording and slides can be found on the Louisiana Fit Kids website, and this training slides and recording will also be posted to Louisiana Fit Kids usually within a day or two of the live presentation. So if you have questions about CEP, please contact the Division of Nutrition Support by emailing the general email address Child Nutrition Programs at la.gov or calling the main number. But if you have specific questions or need assistance, like needing to be walked through elections or something doesn't appear right on your screen, please contact Mary Katie Moses. She's basically taken the lead for CEP. Her email address is mary.moses@la.gov, and her number is 225 342 3704. So now let's talk about the 2023 equipment grant reminders. So those of you that were awarded the 2023 equipment grant, those award emails were sent out on March 21st. It included the amount, the grant, and detailed instructions on how to request the funding. The email went to both the authorized representative and the superintendent. In addition, those SFAs that were not awarded were also received an email. But please know that there is always a chance of a second allocation of these funds. So after the first allocations are processed and distributed, if there are any unused funds, there will be a second allocation. You will be notified at that time if you've been awarded any funds for that second allocation. So SFAs must obligate funds by September 30th of 2024 by submitting a purchase order or invoice. And then SFAs must also submit a request for reimbursement in the CNP website by October 21st of 2024. And although those are different due dates, if possible, please submit the purchase order or invoice and the request for reimbursement at the same time, as we cannot process for payment until both have been received. So to expedite the reimbursement process, you can email that purchase order or invoice for each piece of equipment that was awarded to stacy.griffin@la.gov, and then go ahead and complete that online request for funding as soon as those funds are obligated on the CNP website. You can call or email Stacy for questions if you are uncertain if your documents were received or if reimbursement was approved. Just some important notes to remember. You should not have begun the procurement activities or purchased the equipment prior to receiving that notification of the award. You have 6 months to obligate those funds. And the purchase order or invoice is required as proof of obligating those funds when to apply for that reimbursement. And on this slide is Stacy's contact information. Her number is 225-342-3677, and her email address is stacy.griffin@la.gov, and she is the main contact for the 2023 equipment grant. So next, we're going to go over some memos that have been posted since the last monthly call. So on this slide is the list of memos. We have quite a few that have been added since May. The first is Memo SFS 24-72. It's a webinar on child nutrition programs about the final rule. So that took place actually on May 16th. And actually, I haven't checked in a couple of days, but the notification will be shared once the recording is available. But again, I haven't checked in a couple of days. It was not posted as of, I think, Monday or Friday or Monday was the last time I checked. So Memo SFS 24-73 was entitled the Summer Food Service Program Deadline Dates and Important Reminders. So again, this memo was about the sponsor applications were due by May 31st. Sites that have been approved for non-congruent meal service, sponsors must also upload an approved LDH plan. So you had to submit your plan in a timely manner to ensure approval was granted prior to the start of your operations. All sites approved for non-congruent feeding must keep enrollment forms for each child receiving meals. And at a minimum, the form must include the child's name, date of birth, address, and parent or guardian name and phone number. Children may be enrolled on site. Meal count and roster documentation will be required for any non-congregant service involving multi-day issuance. And this documentation, including meal type and participant names, must be maintained and kept on file. If sites have been approved to operate non-congregant grab-and-go meal service, the parent or guardian must complete the parent-guardian meal pickup form if the child is not present. These verification methods ensure that the meals are going to an eligible child. It is the sponsor's responsibility to maintain program integrity and ensure children are not receiving duplicate meals. If sites have been approved to provide home delivery meal service, sponsors must obtain written consent from the eligible child's parent or guardian, confirming that the household wants to receive delivered meals. This confirmation must include the household's current contact information and the number of eligible children in the household to ensure the correct number of meals are delivered to the correct location. Also, all homes on the delivery route must be verified by address and confirmed rural per the designation map. So Memo SFS 24-74 is about the June 2024 trainings. So today is the June monthly call. On June 25th, we will provide a training on the average meal cost tool and the paid lunch equity tool. So you can register for these on Louisiana Fit Kids. If they're not posted yet, they should be posted soon. I believe they are both posted at this time. And all training recordings and slides are normally posted within a week after the live presentation. And that can be found on Louisiana Fit Kids, and you click on the training tab. Memo SFS 24-75 is the Consolidated Appropriations Act 2024, the effect on CNP. So this memo is actually a USDA memo, provides notice to the Child Nutrition Program operators regarding sections 739, 747, 748, 769, and 770 of the Consolidated Appropriations Acts of 2024 that was enacted on March 9th of 2024. It includes crediting of vegetables at breakfast, prohibiting the use of chicken and seafood from China, compliance with the paid lunch equity requirements, required inclusion of low fat or fat-free flavored milk in child nutrition meal patterns, and maintaining the 2023-2024 sodium limits in school meal patterns through the 2026-2027 school year. Memo SFS 24-76 is the initial implementation memo for CNP meal patterns consistent with the dietary guidelines. So this memo is about the final rule that was published on April 25th of 2024. The rule basically it just this memo is a USDA memo, and it provides a summary of the major changes and the initial implementation resources. So the attached initial implementation chart that's included in this memo, it describes the current program requirements, provides an overview of the provisions finalized in the rule, and then it outlines which child nutrition programs are impacted, and then provides the implementation date for each provision. There's also another chart entitled Table of Changes by Program that provides a streamlined overview of the changes by each child nutrition program to help operators successfully implement the changes from this rulemaking. So it's a very, very detailed chart, but it's a very good chart because it outlines everything. And I find it's an easier way to have a good overview of the final rule changes. So Memo SFS 24-77 is about the CEP elections, training, and office hours. So like I said previously, in addition to that CEP elections training that was held on May 30th, Division of Nutrition Support will be hosting office hours for CEP elections every Thursday in June at 1 p.m. So again, please make sure that if you have specific questions, you log on to those calls. And even if you just want to see what everybody's talking about, that's fine. But this is the time for you to log on and get your questions answered about CEP elections. And again, the Zoom link is on this slide. Memo SFS 24-78 is about the April Medicaid free lunch and Medicaid reduced lunch files have been added. The public school districts, it's the Medicaid free lunch batch number 7981, Medicaid reduced lunch batch number 7982. And for non-public schools, it's batch number 7983, and the Medicaid reduced is 7984. And as always, if you have any questions about these files, please email Jane. So Memo SFS 24-79 is about the geographic preference expansion related to the final rule. This is also a USDA memo, and it provides detailed explanation of the expanded geographic preference options. So CNP operators, state agencies purchasing for child nutrition programs, and the USDA Department of Defense, the Fresh Food and Vegetable Program, also known as DOD, may use local as a specification and continue to set a geographic preference when soliciting or buying unprocessed agricultural products. CNP operators and state agencies purchasing on their behalf are not required to use geographic preference when procuring those agricultural products because it remains an option. And the implementation date of this final rule is July 1st of 2024. Memo SFS 24-80 is the Buy American provisions related to the final rule. This is another USDA memo that provides information regarding the implementation of the Buy American provisions that was recently codified in the final regulations. This final rule is effective as of July 1, 2024, but some provisions have a phased in implementation dates. And this memo includes a table that also compares the previous requirement with the updated requirements for each provision. So this is also another good chart to look at to give you an overview because it breaks it down into the previous requirement and then what the updated requirement is. And then on Thursday, this last memo is memo SFS 24-81. It's about a webinar on that expanded geographic preference option for the final rule. So on Thursday, June 30th, from 1 to 2, USDA FNS Farm to School team will host a webinar for farm to school partners, including child nutrition program operators, on the expanded geographic preference option for the final rule. The final rule includes a small yet significant expansion of the geographic preference provision. So, beginning July 1st, the provision will permit CNP operators to use local as a specification when processing, when procuring those unprocessed agricultural products. USDA Farm to School team will provide an overview to help farm to school partners share and learn about the expanded geographic preference option, and the registration link for this webinar can be found on this slide as well as on the memo that was posted. Okay, so next let's talk about some upcoming trainings. So here are some upcoming trainings that have been scheduled. If they are not posted on Louisiana Fit Kids yet, they will be posted very soon. So like I said before, today is the June 4th, the monthly call. The next call will be on June 25th on the average meal cost tool and the paid lunch equity tool. And in July, we will have our monthly call on July 2nd. And at this time, we are planning to have a training on the National School Lunch Program online application that we complete every year, and that is scheduled for July 30th. So the in-person training will be held from July 8th through July 10th at Pennington Biomedical Conference Center. On July 8th and 9th, it will be a full day of training from 8, I'm sorry, full day of training from 8 to 4:30. And then on July 10th, it'll be a training from 8:30 to 12, and then the assessment quiz from 1:30 to 4. The registration cost is $60. It is limited to 40 attendees, so please make sure to register soon to get a spot before they're all filled. And to register for this training, participants must have their own email address. Participants must bring a laptop computer to take the assessment quiz on July 10th. And the assessment will be computerized, so participants will be proctored by either LDOE or Pennington personnel. So we recently just had the virtual manager training at the end of May. We actually had 130 people registered. 104 took the assessment and 77 passed. So we have a 74% pass rate, which is pretty good. And we would like to give a special shout out to Mindy Martin from Allen Parish, who made a perfect score on her exam. So if you're wanting Louisiana Department of Education staff to attend and present at your back to school trainings, please send a request to the main email address, childnutritionprograms@la.gov. Please make sure to specify the available dates, the time, and location. Only civil rights and offer versus serve training will be offered for those in-person trainings by state staff. And trainings will be scheduled on the availability of staff basically on a first come first serve basis. Please know that if we don't are unable to come to you in person, if you request it, we will still have like Zoom trainings with civil rights and offer versus serve that we will have available and we will present towards the beginning of the school year. There's no set dates yet. But again, if you're wanting us there for your back to school training, start sending those requests in so we can put them on the calendar and get staff basically assigned to those. So I have a save the date for you for an upcoming Team Up procurement training. The training will be November 19th at Pennington. More information is to come in the coming months, but I just want to make sure everyone puts this on their calendar. The Urban School Food Alliance has a cooperative agreement with USDA to provide team up trainings around the country relating to procurement. This project seeks to improve the procurement practices for districts of all sizes in both urban and rural areas. And through the review and assessment of current rules, practices, and training materials, including the expertise of stakeholders involved all along the supply chain, this project will provide school nutrition leaders with easy to use procurement tools and a voice in the process. Stakeholders across the national school lunch and school breakfast program struggle with today's school meal procurement practices. So, school food authorities, producers, processors, and distributors have shared their challenges with USDA and recommended training tools and improvements to the process. So, this project's efforts are focused on redesigning the procurement process to put power in the hands of school nutrition program administrators, developing a process to build better partnerships with suppliers, and reinventing how school meal marketplace does business. So for more information about the Urban School Food Alliance, please visit their website that's linked on this slide. But again, they are planning to come to Baton Rouge on November 19th to have an all-day procurement training with anybody who's wanting to come from your school district, meaning like you have a purchasing person in your office. It's not just going to be specific for directors. And with that, that ends today's call. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat box. You can also email us at childnutritionprograms@la.gov, or you can give us a call. Let me look through the chat real quick to see if we have any questions that have come through. Um, Michelle, I'm assuming you're talking about notifications for SSO reviews. Those were sent out. The letter should have been emailed out last week. I do not believe you were one of them. PowerPoint, the slides, the recording and slides will be posted on Louisiana Fit Kids website. We'll probably send those over later today for them to get posted as soon as possible. Kathy is letting everyone know that for the July training, they can take the assessment on a tablet or an iPad. Amanda, we have not received the reimbursement rates for the 2024-25. They're normally sent out literally end of June sometimes right at the beginning of July. At least that's what it was last year. So I just want to remind everyone the first chat in the chat box is the link for anyone to register for the summer EBT calls that are going to take place. If your data managers went out on this call or they did not receive the email that was sent out, please refer them to that link so that they can register and can get on that call to get all of their questions answered about summer EBT. All right, at this time, I'm not seeing any more questions in the chat box. So again, a reminder, CEP elections are due June 30th. Please log on to those CEP calls. The new Sister Ann, I'm not specifically not sure what you're speaking of. The new chart, do you mean the new reimbursement rates? Do you mean the new eligibility guidelines? Do you mean the new applications? Application. Okay, so the application, we have not seen a new application yet from USDA as well. As soon as we get those, we will send those out. I Again, I think it's still kind of early for USDA to send those out. We wish they would be out already, but it's not the case. All right. So if nobody else has questions, that will end today's call. Like I said, make sure if you need summer EBT help, you log on to the summer EBT call. If you need CEP elections help, you log on to the CEP elections call. Always, you can contact us at any time at 342-9661 or emailing us at childnutritionprograms@la.gov. Thanks, everyone.